Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, this is Steve Roy, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. Thank you for listening. Before we jump into the show, just want to share a couple things about some of our groups that we have. I've said this before, but I've seen the power of tribe, meaning dads as a whole don't have a place to go and kind of share ideas, wins, losses. A lot of times we don't have that tribe that we once had maybe back in college. But, that's one of the reasons why almost everything we do in the Fit Dad Nation is in groups, because there's immense power behind being part of a group of guys that are going through the same things that you're going through, that are struggling with the same things, and that are sharing what's working, what's not. And so we do that in a couple different groups. We have a free private Facebook group called the Fit Dad Base Camp, and we also have our private membership program called the Inner Circle, where it's really designed for guys that are serious about taking their health to the next level. And it's for dads who are struggling to kind of get back on track. Maybe you don't have an idea of what you should be doing. Maybe you're really struggling in some aspect with your diet or whatever it is. But we do monthly programs with monthly challenges. We have a ton of content, and probably one of the biggest benefits to the Inner Circle is the Facebook group. It's super, super active and tons of stuff going on. I do weekly live Q&As, just constantly sharing across the board. So it's a great, great tool for you as a dad. If you're looking to get fit, you can find that at fitdadnation.com/inner circle. Today I want to talk about my own experience with something. And so I talked about this last week and the week before briefly. And so we started a challenge on January 1st. And it was I set it up to be a 45-day challenge designed really for mental toughness, because it was the first ever no cheat challenge. And so typically I don't do no cheat challenges. I think it's very hard to stick to. And, honestly, it doesn't make a lot of sense to try to live a super, super restrictive lifestyle that you're, sacrificing everything. And typically that's just a recipe for failure. But going into the new year, I know a lot of the guys in our group, and this is happening in the Inner Circle right now. We're 2 weeks into it. A lot of guys were struggling with consistency, really making a full commitment to their health. And so I wanted to try something a little bit different, and that was, all right, guys, we're going to do an absolutely strict no cheat challenge. And I got the idea from Andy Frisella from MFCEO. He's a CEO of First Foreign Supplements, great guy. And so he ran a challenge. I don't know, he started it up, I don't know how long ago, but it's called the 75 Hard, which was a 75-day, very strict challenge. And I had seen some friends of mine just make some amazing progress. I read a lot about it online, watched some videos, and the more I learned about it, the more I realized that he was really onto something, because a lot of us don't really commit to something all the way. And, it's obvious in our results. I mean, most of this country is overweight. We really struggle with a lot of things, and consistency is at the top, right? So I decided to kind of modify some of the things that he was teaching and make it a little more realistic for a busy dad. And so what I came up with was a 45-day challenge. I called it the Project 45. And so it was a super simple premise, okay? Goal number one was to pick a diet. Most of the guys in the group, including myself, chose a primal diet, which, if you know anything about me or my business or my programs, that's what I teach. It's what I believe in. I really think that it's just a great, healthy, basic way to eat. It's not right for everybody, but I've seen tremendous results in my own life and with my clients. So most of the guys in the group stuck with or decided on a primal diet. And the idea was, all right, we're going to commit 100%. No cheats. 0. 45 days. That means no grains. There's no sugar. We're not eating pasta, white flour. Just a lot of the heavier carbohydrates, processed, refined stuff. A lot of packaged box foods, things that don't really help us anyway. And so we started there. I decided to make one of the rules drinking half of your weight in ounces of water every day, because most of us walk around dehydrated, and that doesn't mean we're like thirsty and we're dying of thirst. It just means we don't have enough water in our system, and water, is so important for so many processes, including fat loss. So making that a goal, training every day. I set up a very specific program to follow, strength and conditioning, and then a daily mobility session, extremely important for dads, especially in their 30s and 40s and up, because, just of the years of abuse and sitting and poor posture and weak muscles, tight muscles, and commutes, all that stuff just really fucks up your posture and the muscles that control, bringing your head back and your shoulders back. And so daily mobility, short, 5-10 minutes, but extremely powerful, very important. So those are the 4 rules. That was it. And so it's super simple. Honestly, in the last 6 months leading up to this, I have not been super diligent eating, right? I'm fortunate enough that I've been training so long and so consistently that, it's hard for me to get out of shape, and it's easier for me to get back into shape than a lot of people. And so I kind of let myself slide. I wasn't, real particular on a lot of the foods I was eating. And I got a bit, for me, out of shape. I wasn't very comfortable. I was 193 pounds when I started January 1st. And typically when I'm super lean and really, really feeling good and fit, I'm about 175 pounds. So, about 18 pounds difference. So I still looked fine, but, for me, I wanted to start really feeling better. Like I said, I wasn't really like, I have to eat this way. I have to train every day. I'm really going to be careful about my water. Instead, I was drinking a ton of caffeine. I was drinking 2 Monster Zeros a day, a couple of servings of pre-workout supplements a day, very little water on the side. I wasn't training every day, but probably 4 or 5 days a week. And my diet was all over the place, mostly good, but honestly, probably more like 70% of the time was good, and the rest was, the things that I really, really enjoy, the pizzas and the pastas and the spaghetti, all that stuff. I decided, and I made this very clear, I want everyone that takes on this challenge to be 100% committed. Like, I don't want you to start this and say, oh, yeah, it's too hard. I'm just not, I'm gonna modify it. I said, I want everybody all in. And so the rule was, if you fuck up once, whether you miss your water goal, whether you miss a workout, whether you cheat on your diet, whatever it is, you start over. You start over at day 1, okay? And that, that sucks because some people get in a ways, and I've seen it in the 75 hard where people get, 30, 40, 50, 60 days in, and they miss something and they have to start over, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but, it just holds you accountable. So that's where we're at. So right now, we're 2 weeks into this challenge, and I'm just going to share my experience and just honestly, just how simple things are really. I mean, this industry is so confusing because people make it confusing because confusing sells, right? You have to have this, you need this, you have to do that, right? At the end of the day, you really don't. So at 193 pounds, I started out January 1st, and today I was 182 pounds. So obviously, I'm not going to be losing that much fat in 2 weeks, right? It's just not possible. You can lose maybe a pound and a half, 2 pounds, maybe somewhere in there, right? The rest is going to be water weight. And that's what it was. So, because I wasn't watching necessarily what I was eating, I was having a lot of sodium, a ton of caffeine, and very little water. I was retaining a lot of water. So once I kicked everything except water, the bloat went way down. And obviously, I've started to shed some of that extra water weight, and I definitely have lost some fat as well. I've already noticed quite a bit of difference in my muscles already in just 2 weeks. And so again, I'm telling you this because it's so simple. The whole principle of all of this, the things I just told you, right? Sticking to a diet, drinking water, moving more, training every day, progressively. It really boils down to just a handful of things like that. And so I feel way better. I mean, I feel awesome. I really do. All I drink is water now. I mean, I do have my pre-workout still. I have the stuff from Transparent Labs, which is probably the highest quality pre-workout I've ever had. And so, there's really nothing in that calorie-wise. There's a few calories, but it's almost all water. So I'm drinking a ton of water, about 100 ounces a day, and I feel awesome because of it. I actually feel lighter on my feet, like just the way I feel like when I'm sitting in bed or I'm walking around, I just feel lighter. I feel better, and I'm moving way more. I'm absolutely committed to training every day. And obviously, when we get up into our 30s and 40s, we don't need to be hitting our bodies hard every day, and that's not what this is about, right? We do 4 days of strength training, 40 minutes or so, and the other 3 days are some kind of conditioning or cardio, whether it's a short circuit like an AMRAP, 15, 20 minutes. Could be, a hike, a long hike, or 10 minutes, running up and down hills, or, sitting on a bike for an hour or whatever. But it's just really about consistent movement. And then a dedicated mobility routine, which is so important. Just, in the inner circle, I've got a bunch of videos in there of short 5 to 10 minute routines where we're going to, open up your hips and shoulders and back and all those things. So important that guys just don't want to do it because it's boring. So, those things put together, I feel like a different person. And I'm not like I went from a couch potato, a lazy sack of shit, to hitting it all in. I just turned off all the fucking shit that I was eating, which was a fair amount. Started pounding water, and I was, literally in the bathroom every 15 minutes for the first 7 days. It was a nightmare, but we got through it. My body's adjusted now to it a lot more, and I'm just hitting the gym every day. It's just a commitment. It's on my calendar. No matter what time it is, I can't use the weather, my kids, anything as an excuse. I just show up, and I do the work, and I go home. And so I want you to hear this, and, I'm not telling you anything earth-shattering at all. Like, you're not going to listen to this show and be like, holy shit, I never thought of that. And that's not my goal. My goal is just to tell you, if you want results, and listen, if you're listening to this show and you're not in the shape you want to be in, and chances are probably not if you're listening to the show, you have to commit to yourself 100%, okay? It's not selfish, I assure you. The last thing it is selfish, because when you're not taking care of yourself, right, you're kind of, half-assing it in the gym if you ever even go. You're not doing any stretching. You're drinking a lot of coffee, some sodas, maybe a cup of water here and there, right? Your diet's all over the place, whatever your wife cooks, right? That's the typical American life, right? That's what we do. But that leads to us being fat, right? That's what it does. So you have to absolutely commit, because when you commit to yourself and just do those 4 things that I'm talking about, right? I haven't neglected my children. I haven't neglected my relationships. I haven't neglected my business. I've just put a greater emphasis on taking care of my body and health, and I've committed to it regardless of what happens. In only 2 weeks, I feel 5 times better. And so what I'm telling you is, if you're serious about making a change, commit to yourself and say, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I don't care how long you do it. Consistency, the longer the better. But it's all about consistency. Okay, that will beat intensity every day of the week. You can't just show up, train your ass off for a week, eat super, super clean, nothing but chicken and broccoli and brown rice and, dry tuna fish, all that shit, right? And then, 2 weeks later, go back to eating whatever you want and then, not going to the gym, right? It just doesn't work. Okay, you have to go all in and you have to really commit to it, and it's all about consistency. So what I'm telling you is it's possible. A lot of guys that have a lot of weight to lose can lose a lot of weight quickly, and I'm not promoting rapid weight loss, but I'm saying once you just change your diet, let's say you're a 45-year-old father of 3, right? You're 260 pounds. You probably want to be around, let's call it 200 pounds. Okay, so you're carrying a lot of extra weight, a lot around your midsection, your back, right? You don't feel great. You don't move well. You don't really have much strength. Can't do a push-up. Definitely can't do a pull-up, right? If you commit to making a change, that's the only way you're going to be able to make progress the way you want to make progress, right? You don't want to lose 2 or 3 pounds and then pat yourself on the back and then go back to doing what you're doing. No. You have to say, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. And then show up every single day, right? You don't have to go crazy and go 100% paleo or whatever you want to do and go from eating Big Macs and fries and shakes to vegetables and salmon, because that's going to fail. You're not gonna succeed with that. You have to phase that shit out, right? What I'm saying is, if you committed to yourself, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna eat 3 vegetables a day. I'm gonna drink only water, and I'm going to go to the gym and get on the bike for 20 minutes a day for a month, and I'm not gonna stop every day that you're gonna do that, right? That's a phenomenal place to start, right? And that's what it's all about, and that's why I wanted to share this with you today, is because the guys in our group, and there were 28 men that started this with me, they're making similar progress, right? They're dropping weight, they're feeling awesome. Like, the testimonials are phenomenal just from the day-to-day conversations in our Facebook group of the difference it makes in everything. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of weight to lose in our group, and some of them have lost more than I have, and some are making huge strides in their diet. Some feel amazing, some are feeling much stronger. And it's just about consistency. Like, I'm not reinventing the wheel. We're not using any supplements. We're not doing any trickery. We're not trying to use any crazy programs or exercises. These are basic exercises, push and pull and squat and sprint, basic stuff that we're using just with some basic principles, Get off your fucking ass and move more, right? Lift up some weights, right? Lift them until they're not heavy anymore, right? Commit to a better diet. It doesn't mean go crazy. You don't have to go keto because you heard it's awesome, right? Just cut out a few things. If your diet is really poor, cut out 2 or 3 things that are terrible for you and replace them with things that are better for you, but commit to it and don't stop, right? Do it for 2 weeks. Do it for a month. Then add a couple more. Do it for 2 weeks or a month. Add a couple more, okay? That's how you do it. That is how you do it. It's so funny because some of the most popular social media posts I've had over the years, last couple years anyway, have been on this topic of, this is how you get in shape. Like, this is how you do it. This isn't, fitness sorcery, like so much fucking garbage out there, so much fucking bullshit out there. It's honestly almost led me to leaving Instagram, for example, because I can't even stand looking at half of this shit because it's so fake, so much bullshit. You don't need any of that garbage. You don't need supplements. Okay, do they help? Can they help? Sure, they can. But 99%, maybe not that many, maybe 95% of us, busy dads, are not covering the basics. We don't need fucking supplements. We don't. I take a pre-workout because I love caffeine, and I've never had a cup of coffee in my life, and I've quit energy drinks, which is a huge win for me. But we don't need that stuff. Okay, I've written about this before. Can it help? Sure. Right? A protein shake can help. Sure. Right? Those types of things are fine, but they're not necessary. Okay? Instead, stop thinking that you're being selfish. Commit to yourself. Get your ass in shape, right? Your life is going to be so much better. I promise. When you're feeling good, looking good, you can look in the mirror and say, I look pretty damn good. You move well again. You feel strong again. You can kind of, hold your head up when you're walking down the street, walking through the store. I see it every single day. I go in and I see an out of shape dude, slouched over, head down, kind of just, walking around the store. You can just tell by his body language, That's not the type of person that I want to be, and I don't think that's the type of person that you want to be either, right? You want to feel good about yourself. And, I think that's just normal, right? We all want to. You're not going to do that by just continuing to do what you're doing. So I'm not saying you need to join our challenge. You can't even join this challenge. It's closed. But, I'm not saying you have to join our group. What I'm saying is you need to find a way to get involved in something where you can commit to something, put your ass on the line, be held accountable, and then do it. That's honestly it, right? I'm trying to think about how I'm even going to title this show because, this is such basic stuff that I'm sharing, but it's powerful because I'm sharing my honest experience so far. I'm 48. I'll be 49 in July. I'd like to think I'm pretty damn fit, right, for my age, and I'm honestly telling you, in 2 weeks, I feel like a different person just by, like I said, I dumped all the drinks that I was drinking. Soda, energy drinks, 2 worst right there. I drink nothing but water, okay? And I'm moving every single day more than I was. I mean, I already move a lot for my business here, but I'm moving more and I'm in the gym daily. And I think the biggest piece of it is I've gotten rid of all the processed garbage that I was used to eating. I used to love, it would be like 11 o'clock at night. I'd be getting ready for bed. And then all of a sudden I would realize, oh man, I'm fucking hungry. I'll go downstairs and have a big bowl of like Raisin Bran Crunch with almond milk, or I'd grab a bunch of Triscuits and slice up a bunch of cheese. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying those are calories that, if you think about it, they're not real healthy calories and just empty calories. But I was doing that so much that I was definitely overeating. I definitely wasn't losing weight. I was, definitely overeating. So once I got rid of all that crap and I stopped eating on emotions and I'm kind of tired, I think I need a food, or, I was being triggered by a certain time of night. And I just focused on good, healthy foods, like a typical breakfast for me. I'll eat literally 4 or 5 eggs with cheese and some fruit, whether it's an apple or some blueberries, maybe a little bit of almond butter. Lunch is a big piece of meat, usually some greens in there, and dinner is the same. And so actually I'm eating a lot less because I'm just not as hungry. I don't have all those, sugars and refined carbohydrates that just really leave you wanting more. I mean, I've had plenty of cravings, don't get me wrong. I mean, it was like probably, 4 or 5 days ago, I was ready to kill somebody to have a grilled cheese sandwich because that's all I wanted. But, I'm not eating bread. And I tell you, not eating bread, not eating grains, not eating all the sugars, I'm not saying that those are all terrible things. I'm just saying I feel 100 times better when I've flushed those things out of my system. And I know from my experience that with my clients, they feel the same way. So I'm not saying you have to try that, but I'm saying it does work for me. It works for a lot of people that I know, a lot of clients. And so, yeah, I kick those things and I'm eating less and I feel great. So, hopefully you get the message of this show, okay? I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to steer you in any direction as far as, a certain workout or a certain diet. All I'm trying to tell you is there is incredible power and the results are behind it if you can just commit to a couple of small things, but commit to them 100%. Get better every single day and do not stop. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.